Greetings, Earthlings. It is I, Justin, with JM Naturescapes, and today's gonna be an awesome day. I'm leaving way later than I wanted to, but I had some great work to do this morning. I donated plasma, so I'm saving people. I'm doing some freelance photography work, which is great, so I wrapped that up this morning. And tonight we got some aurora activity, and I'm doing an awesome, very complex tracked Milky Way panorama. I got a new setup that I'm excited to share with you later today once I get there. We're going to my favorite place, Sleeping Bear National Lakeshore. We're gonna get some shots of the DH-Day barn with the winter Milky Way over it and maybe some aurora later as well. The moon does come up right when the Milky Way core comes up, so I don't think that I'm gonna be able to get any kind of spring or summer Milky Way panoramas because the moon actually comes up right where the core is. So it's just, I'm a week out from getting any Milky Way panoramas, which is summer Milky Way panoramas, which is frustrating because I haven't been able to get any yet. But I got plenty of work to do later this year, and I'm sure you guys will keep up with me, hopefully. So no one-on-ones today. I did have a one-on-one lesson, and unfortunately she had to back out, so but that's okay, everybody's busy. And I gotta get going here. I gotta fill up on gas, put some air in the tires, and I will see you guys hopefully at Sleeping Bear. Alright, snacks acquired, gas acquired, we're good to go. Time to head up. We made it. So yeah, here we are. So I am checking out this trail. I will put the name of the trail in the video here. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I have about maybe an hour and a half until sunset. So I've heard great things about this trail. I have not been on it before. I just wanted to check it out. I got all my gear. I'm probably just a little bit too warm, but honestly, that's a good thing because I can just take layers off or unzip my jackets. So I'm ready for this, and I'm ready for tonight. I did just find out that apparently there's a large train of Starlink satellites that are being launched at 8:30. I don't know what time they'll come through to Michigan, but hopefully they don't photobomb my shop because I really don't want to have to clone stamp or erase them out. That would be super annoying. So, alright, I'm going to get on to vlogging the trail and videos. Or no, vlogging the trail and taking photos. Just want to show you how breathtaking this is. Just in the middle of this giant valley of sand. It's pretty neat, pretty cool. Lots of interesting waves in the sand. Switch lenses. I missed golden hour at the barn because I was hiking over at the other dune area, but that's okay. There's no real clouds here, so I'm not going to get a sunset. Actually, there are clouds way over there. Looks like they're coming in, which is crap. So that's annoying. But there are deer everywhere. Over on the other side of the road over there, there was probably 20-30 deer. And I'm chasing off a bunch of deer way back there. They're about to go up to this hill. Actually, I can see them on the hill. That's kind of where I'm headed. I'm exploring way back here because I want the best view of the Milky Way I can possibly get. And I think this is going to be good enough. And this is where I'm shooting tonight anyways. So I can either move and get a unobstructed view of the sky, like where I just was, and I just have Lake Michigan as a flat horizon, or I can just deal with it here. and it'd probably just be easier to do it here. So, gonna scope out the best location to take the Milky Way spot and get my foreground here during blue hour. Waiting for blue hour. We got a really nice pink sunset. Took some shots. Sunset's actually over there. Getting that nice. Too dark. But sunset's actually over there. So, I want to go back to my tripod and show y'all something real quick. Alright, so now that it's getting dark, I just wanted to quickly kind of show you a B-roll of my tripod. Well, that was fun. I don't know how that worked out. But anyways, just to kind of go over things real quick. I just realized I have the 28mm on and not the 14. So I have to be like way back here. So I have 3 USB portable chargers. These are just for a bunch of different things. Charging my star tracker when it gets cold and dies. My USB lens warmer are the 2 primary things that I'll charge. I now have a dummy battery that I can plug into another one. So basically each pack gets their own thing to make sure that nothing dies throughout the night. So here I have my wedge base. This is going to help me level and get my move, shoot, move laser, which goes in this little hole right here. So that's going to point at the North Star for rotation. And I have, you might be able to see some numbers here, right in there. I'm right about the 45th parallel, so I just keep that at the 45th line, pretty much. Then I have my big sturdy ball head right here. It's got a 2-way rotation right at the base. This big knob is the thing that is going to kind of loosen the ball and actually rotate it. This, let's see, right here is obviously where the camera attaches. Normally, there is a level there, which is good. Then I have the move, shoot, move Z bracket. And obviously you can see why it's called a Z bracket, Z mount. And then I have a attachment plate up here to actually attach my camera to. So this is my current setup for panoramas. And let me kind of put the camera on here so you can see why. Oh, well, I'll just show you this way. So for big multi-row panoramas, I'm going to need this to be able to move up and down for rows. And then I need to be able to rotate this like this to be able to go 180 degrees. So this works really, really well. And I'm so excited to give it a good try. Hello everyone, Justin from the future here. Just wanted to pop in and say thanks so much for watching the video. And the rest of it is going to be photos, time lapses, and those epic panoramas that I worked on all night. I'm going to be doing some voiceovers as well, so you can kind of understand how these images were done, planned, and created. But first, I wanted to do a little ad from our sponsor.
Shield Insurance Agency is a family-owned insurance agency based in Hudsonville, Michigan, representing over 40 different insurance carriers. Shield is a full-service agency that's able to serve personal lines such as home and auto, commercial lines such as general liability and workers' comp, plus health and benefits. If you're in the state of Michigan, I would love to see how we can service insurance for you and compare what you currently have to our many A-rated carriers. Head to Justin Insures You, that's the letter U.com, and click Import My Insurance at the top right. Follow the directions, and that will import your current insurance to me so I can assist you in helping you find or compare your current insurance. You can also reach me at justinm@shieldagency.com. Now back to the video.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning into the video. I know I kind of skipped a bunch of steps kind of here and there, but I got very wrapped up in shooting my panorama and never really got back to doing any updates in the video, but I'm back home. It's the next day. It's like 11 a.m. I stink. I'm gonna go shower, and it's gonna be a while before I get to everything. I got over 2,000 images, so thanks for checking out the video. I appreciate the support, and if you wouldn't mind liking, subscribing, and maybe sharing the video, I would really appreciate that. So enjoy the images that I finished and the time lapses as well.
All right, so now we're going to start to get into the panoramas. All night, the goal was to shoot this epic tracked panorama. I had been using this app that's called Planet Pro to plan out my giant winter Milky Way panorama that I wanted to do, and I knew that I need at least 3 or 4 individual rows to get and capture all of the winter Milky Way with my 28 millimeter, starting right around true darkness, which was around 9:30. So as you can see, was very lucky. Right at darkness, you can see that aurora just popping. So of course, first thing I did was just focus on the aurora, and that's when I decided, well, of course I need to have the aurora as part of the picture as well for my full panorama, which means I was going to have to add a couple extra shots in the full frame. So here is just that first regular panorama. This is as simple as it gets. You just put your camera up on the tripod and you rotate it around and just take single shots. The settings were ISO 6400, f2, and I was shooting with my Sigma 28 millimeter lens. And I think I said 8 seconds for the exposure. And I did want to let you guys know, I was talking earlier in the video about taking the shots from the barn, and honestly, I could have, and it would have been just fine, but I decided to go up to this really high point back at the Sleeping Bear Point trail that I hiked earlier in the day, and that ended up working really, really well, and the image blended really, really well with the panoramas from the barn that I took during Blue Hour. So either way, it is technically a composite image. I did take the sky at a different location, but in the end, the final images look incredible, and I could have done it from the barn, but either way, it would have been the same image. Let's kind of move on to this next image here. So I'm about an hour into tracking my tracked panorama, and I had just wrapped up the second row. I could tell with my naked eye that the aurora was really picking up with some activity. You could see these slow, really tall, jagged pillars starting to rotate around from the right side. And I had this dilemma. in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, these are getting some really, nice pillars. I need a short shutter speed to capture these pillars. When it comes to tracked astrophotography, I'm shooting 2 to 3 minute exposures at a low ISO for a really nice image, but that's not going to capture the really cool structures of the aurora. So I decided to take a break and do a full panorama of the single shots at 8 seconds. And it was really interesting to see the final difference of the final image compared to a tracked image compared to a regular single shot image. So this particular panorama that I took was, I think, 6 or 7 shots, same as the last one, 6400 ISO, f2, 8-second single shot panorama of just focused on the aurora.
Okay, so here you are with one of the big images that I'm so excited to share. And my creativity really came through with this one because I had the idea to write out the word panorama in the foreground of my panorama, but I knew that would be very challenging, so I decided to cut it short and just kind of try just doing pano just to see if I could. And it was really challenging to do that in the field because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it and blend it in later and be happy with it. But I'm elated that I was able to do so. So the sky here, you can see because the aurora has all that structure and all those pillars, this is my full panorama edited, all single shot. So this whole thing is a single shot panorama. It was 3 rows, 36 images, I think, all at ISO 6400 f2, 8 seconds. It took me so fast to complete this panorama, it made me question why I was tracking in the first place. It was pretty funny. So for the foreground, it was the same thing. I believe I did 1 minute, 1600 ISO, and f2.8. I wanted a little bit more closed aperture, but I still wanted it to get done fast. So 1600 ISO, f2.8, and 1 minute for each photo. I think there were 15 photos for the total panorama. And then I had to take a separate photo for each letter, including the one where I am there with my external flash doing a little selfie for myself. So then I had to obviously merge the full panorama together, all the shots of the panorama without me or the letters in it. Then I had to go in, I had to make a panorama for the letters and myself, and then I had to go in and layer those two on together, match up the foreground, and blend the letters and myself in. It was pretty challenging to figure out how to do that, but I think it turned out very well. The only thing that I wish I was able to do was keep the light from my headlamp on the foreground, but I wasn't able to blend it in because it was only captured on one image, and naturally the light would be across the whole landscape. So just really didn't know how to do that naturally. But as you can see, I kept the light from my flash by myself. So this image I am so proud of and I think looks incredible, especially for the sky being a non-tracked image. And next is actually going to be a short time lapse that I took as I went to go warm up in the car.
So after I finished doing the single shot panorama for the sky, I went back to the tracked panorama. I finished the final row, and then I proceeded to do the foreground panorama that you saw in the last photo. This, I went to warm up in the car. This was a 2.5 second shutter speed time lapse for about half an hour. ISO 6400 as well. Once I got back, I packed everything up and I went to this iconic boat here, did some focus stacking for some images, and then made my way back over to the barn. So this time lapse actually has 2 different shutter speeds. The first part is 15 seconds, ISO 3200 and f2.5. I just did that because I wanted to save space on my card, and there was not a lot of movement in the Aurora anyways. So what's funny is toward the end, you'll also see that the lens freezes up because I did not use my lens warmer like I should have. So it freezes, unfreezes, and refreezes, which I think is kind of funny. So I got up, checked on the camera. The battery was super low, just about to die, or it had just died. I don't remember. But I unfroze the lens. I put the lens warmer on, and we were good to go. The dummy battery I bought didn't work, so that was cool. Just changed the battery, and I changed the shutter speed to 5 seconds because I realized that it looks like there was some movement, so I wanted a shorter shutter speed. I think I dropped the ISO to 1600 because I knew the moon was rising, and I didn't want the whole image to be blown out. But I did brighten up the image pretty significantly in post anyways, because I wanted the beginning of the time lapse to be nice, dark, but bright enough. And I wanted you, the viewer, to be able to see just how much the landscape does brighten up with only a half moon. These two shots are both just simple stacked photos. And here are the final two images that I had in mind that, quite frankly, surpass what I ever thought I could achieve here in the flesh, which is pretty freaking incredible. The first photo, you can tell, was used in the other two photos. That is the sky frame from the single shot panorama that I used, and you can tell by the shape of the aurora. And the second shot is the tracked shot here. And you can hardly tell a difference. You can definitely tell a difference when you zoom way in, but on a computer or anything like this, it's hard to tell. The main giveaways are the tracked shot. You can tell there's not a whole lot of detail in the aurora. It's just that, color and kind of blob there. And that's because it's a long shutter speed. And at the time I started shooting the tracked panorama, there was no pillars going on. That's what it looked like at a short shutter speed anyways. But you can tell as well that the Milky Way arch is a lot taller than the other one. And that's because I started earlier in the night. And the other thing that you can tell is that zodiacal light that's right behind the barn, that really kind of bright, almost looks like a spotlight. That is typically most viewable right after twilight. So because I started right after twilight, you can really tell that it's there very nicely. The only thing that I kind of wanted more in my shot was I wanted the barn a little bit bigger, but you're not allowed inside that fence. So I'll have to figure out a way to, make that barn more dominant. But man, this shot is, I can't wait to print this shot out and put it in my home. Or maybe I'll see it in somebody's business one day. But I know this is a very long video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you could like, share, and subscribe to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.